All right, relationships. Relationships with kids involved. I've got a little bit of experience in this area. I have a guy I'm dealing with recently who has a scenario that I feel like, we were able to have a very productive conversation. I was able to give him some of my opinions on the matter. I think it was helpful. He feels like it was, so I want to share that. And then I also have some personal experience with it. And this is right along the lines of recovery, relationships in recovery. It can get complicated. There's a lot of variables, especially when we're talking about children. So is the biological parent a part of the picture or not, right? That's a variable. Is the parent, are they an effective parent, right? Do they know about structure and boundaries? Have they done their diligence on research into good parenting, or were they raised in an environment where they know what good parenting is, or do they not have any of these skill sets? So there's a lot of variables, and like I said, I've got two instances here that I hope can help you. The one I'm dealing with today, recently, there's a guy who's dating a girl, and she has a child that's just unruly. I guess he's an 8-year-old boy who gets away with just everything but murder, and she's literally afraid of coming down on this kid because I guess they're renting a room in this house, and she knows that, this is how bad it is. She knows that this child would create such a menace. He would be such a menace. He would create so much damage to this home that they're living in that she doesn't dare establish structure and boundaries with this 8-year-old boy. And therefore, when this guy goes over to be with his girlfriend, the child's mother, this child does all types of devious, manipulative things. Like, he sent text messages pretending to be her to him, saying, hey, don't come over tonight. Sabotaging them in various ways, disobeying, just all types of stuff. So my advice to him was, because he felt like internally like he needs to get out of it. It's becoming very stressful for him. He's doing a lot more, playing a bigger role than he wants to. He doesn't know how to be a parent. He doesn't have children of his own. He's only, he's over a year clean and sober, but there's a lot of things he's still trying to get together in his own life. So, my advice to him was, right in line. He's never asked me for help, so I've never given it, up until this point. But he definitely asked me to sit down and share my opinions. My opinion is he definitely needs to get out of it, because she does not know how to raise her own child, which means she doesn't know anything about boundaries. Now, my understanding of this woman is that she is very, very nice, very sweetest person you could ask for, but to me there's some codependent issues in there as far as lack of boundaries, right? And so this whole thing's going to become a disaster. She needs to learn how to be a good mother. I can tell you, if it's my children and they get out of line as far as the structure and the boundaries that I have established, first off, they know what they are for the most part. They're very clearly defined, and once they're violated, my children know. And I set those boundaries, and I establish consequences with love behind them. But they're very, very clear-cut. Certain behavior is just not acceptable. And if I found out that one of my children were mistreating somebody or something, or, if they are participating in destructive behavior of any sort, it would be addressed very quickly and very efficiently. And none of that can happen, though, if I don't know what appropriate behavior is. I've learned this. There's criteria that I've come across called Love and Logic that is great on the subject of parenting at all different ages. If you're not familiar with it, check it out. I've done a lot of diligence. My ex-wife and I both knew we didn't have a good foundation for parenting, so we studied third-party criteria and literature and books, and we looked at everything, and we fell into that. And it's really good stuff. It lets the consequences be the bad guy, for example, is one of the philosophies in there. But she needs to learn how to be a mom. And that whole relationship is just doomed until she figures out what effective parenting is. And so, in addition to that, my advice to him was that he focuses on his life, on his dreams. We do goals sheets. Start visioning now that you know, his first time doing his goals sheet was, you know, I don't know, 6 months sober or whatever. That's evolving into different areas. He can start looking at what kind of assets does he want, what, you know, maybe some more fiscal areas in his life that you're not even able to think about 3 months clean and sober, or 6 months, or 1 week, whatever. But a year and a half in, you start thinking, I would like a house. I would like a so, you know, he kind of said this, and I agreed with him, like, focus on your life. You build a foundation of your life, and you protect that. Do not let a relationship or anything get in the way of your vision of where your life should be going and what you should be doing. And that's the course that we have him on. And I think it's a good course. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of heartbreak in there, but, you know, even we were talking about when I have to ask somebody to leave the house or whatever, when it's based on their decisions, then again, the consequence gets to be the bad guy. And I know in the overall whole that I'm doing the right thing. I'm making a good choice, and there's comfort in that. Like, you're doing the right thing for everybody involved. And you know what? As a parent, as an employee, as just a responsible adult, you have to make good choices. And there's comfort in just knowing, even though, you know, you might need to fire somebody someday, or, you know, whatever. There's certain things like this that you're basically participating in responsible adult behavior, making good choices. So that can be the case with relationships too. So as far as my incident goes, you know, I was dating somebody, and the woman was just a very responsible, amazing person, and her child was my son's age, and we just came to a juncture where, you know, she was much more lenient on behaviors than I am, like, to the point of, you know, there was a lot of kind of spoiled brat type of behavior from the child, like, get me this, get me that, demanding stuff. Whereas if my son was to talk to me the way she talked to her mom, oh boy, it would not go well for my son. It would be corrected very quickly. But at the end of the day, I refuse to be treated poorly. That's where I've arrived at life at this point. Like, I will not be abused by anybody, and that includes somebody else's child. So if there's behavior that I'm not okay with in a relationship from the child, I will present that to the parent and say, hey, you know what, I'm not okay being treated that way, and give them an opportunity to correct it. And if they're willing to correct it, I think that that's a relationship you can be in. And I'm not saying that this woman wasn't. I think we certainly could have worked through it, but for other reasons, we just, you know, we didn't work out in that relationship. But, you know, you do not and should not be putting up with abuse from other people's children. And if you are, just either accept that you're going to be dealing with that, and it's going to get worse in that relationship, or you need to remove yourself from it if you don't want to put up with abuse from other people. All right? Thanks. Hope that helps.